Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. It's going to be really hard for me not to spoil the number one on this list before it's time to talk about the number one on this list. Today, I'm going to be talking about the things that were announced at Paizo Con 2021 that have me hyped up on this episode of The Local Disaster Tour Guide. Hello travelers and tourists, my name is Mark and I am the local disaster tour guide. That's right, I am a storyteller who agrees with Paizo. All player characters will eventually be the skeleton ancestry. Welcome to a journey through the fantastic world of TTRPGs like Pathfinder and Starfinder. Today, I'm going to be taking a ride on the hype train and talking about the things from Paizo Con 2021 that stood out to me and just have me really excited. Now, I'm going to be honest, I had to work most of last weekend, so I didn't get to watch much of Paizo Con 2021. I caught a few of the Twitch streams, but for the most part, I was getting my information from Paizo Con 2021 secondhand. Still, there were a lot of things announced, there were a lot of cool things that happened, and today I'm going to talk about the things that jumped out to me and had me really excited when I saw them. Now, since I didn't get to see most of the Twitch streams all the way through or watch them in detail yet, I'm not going to try to deep dive every announcement that Paizo made, but if you are interested in a deep dive into the various announcements, a few of the recommendations I can offer are this. Nonat, over on his channel, did several deep dives into the Pathfinder 2nd Edition announcements, so you can totally check out some of his videos. The No Direction podcast has put out a reaction video to PaizoCon 2021 as well. And by the time this video goes up, I'm pretty sure that Paizo will be putting some of their Twitch streams up on YouTube. So what I will do is I'll try to put some of the links to those different sources down in the description of this video, so that if you want to deep dive some of this stuff, you can definitely check it out. But for now, I just want to do a quick video on the things that have me excited that Paizo showed us or told us about in their upcoming products. For this video, what I would like to do is I would like to go through several of the products that they talked about and highlight some of the things that I am just really looking forward to. Now, there's one type of product I am going to be skipping over in this video, and that is adventures and adventure paths. And that's because, for the most part, I don't buy adventure paths. I will say that the Strength of Thousands adventure path definitely looks appealing to me, and at the very least, I will be reading through that adventure path to steal some ideas for my home game. But for the most part, adventure paths are products that I don't invest a lot of money in. So that portion of the Paizo Con announcements was just not something that I followed very closely. But what I'm going to do is go through some of the other products that have been announced and talk about the things that jump out to me, talk about the things I'm excited for, maybe some of the stuff I hope to see, and just speculate on some of the amazing stuff that Paizo has coming our way. Now, because the internet loves a good numbered list, I have ranked the different books that Paizo discussed over the weekend by the elements that they have that I am very excited to see. Starting with number 6 on my list, the Galaxy Exploration Manual for Starfinder. Now, on this channel, I talk about Pathfinder more than Starfinder, but I do love Starfinder. Starfinder is a really fun game, and the Galaxy Exploration Manual is a product that they are releasing with tools for players and game masters to really drive home the concept of exploration-style stories in their Starfinder setting. Don't get me wrong, I love the Pact Worlds in Starfinder, I love the Veskarium, but when you have a space game, the idea of space exploration, the idea of frontiers, the idea of pushing the boundaries of what a civilization knows and the places a civilization has been, it's just a classic sci-fi trope. So the Galaxy Exploration Manual is a really positive addition to the products that we have for Starfinder, but in all truth, there's just one thing that Paizo said over the past weekend that really made this product jump out to me, and that was the phrase, Game Master Resources. There are a lot of things that I like about how Starfinder is designed and about how Starfinder plays, but if there's one criticism that I have had of Starfinder overall, for a while now, it's the relative lack of good Game Master resources for the system. There are some Game Master resources, but Starfinder feels like a game where they give the Game Masters just the bare bones basics that they need to run the system, and then they say go and have fun. And as a storyteller, there have been many occasions where I have wished that Paizo gave us more robust tools, more robust options, more robust information about how to run Starfinder. Now, I doubt that Starfinder is going to get a Game Mastery Guide or similar book anytime soon, but the idea that a large portion of the Galaxy Exploration Manual is devoted to Game Masters and to giving tools to Game Masters, I am all about that. I am hyped to see it, and I can't wait to get my copy and see what they are putting in the hands of storytellers. So for number 5 on my list, I'm going to talk about one of the products that is still a ways out, so we don't know as much about this book, but there's still some hype to surround this book, and that is the Book of the Dead. Paizo has talked about how in the future they're going to be moving away from the Bestiary when it comes to monster books for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So the Book of the Dead is actually our first look at what future monster books might be for this product line. And I have to say, this is an interesting first step. There are a number of old D&D 3.5, 3.0 books I can make a comparison to here, but let me just say I am very excited to see Paizo going in this direction. And one of the things that Paizo is going to be doing with books like this in the future is they're going to be focusing on more than just giving us monsters. They're going to be focused on ways to expand the Pathfinder 2nd Edition rules in interesting and exciting ways. In particular, one of the things that they announced for the Book of the Dead is undead player characters. I believe I remember hearing them talk about ghoul player characters and vampire player characters, and I've seen some conversation online around skeleton player characters. They're going to have options for different types of undead that you can play at your gaming table. That is pretty cool, and I have to say, I'm pretty hyped to see that. For number 4 on my hype train list, let's flip the script and move a little bit closer to today with an upcoming release for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Secrets of Magic. Now, there is a lot that I could get excited for here. They have a variety of different magical styles and magical subsystems that they're adding to the game, such as geomancy and elemental magic. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to enjoy diving into and exploring and thinking about adding to my games. I will admit I was a little sad to hear that they didn't do a little more development for the Summoner. I was hoping to see some expansion from the playtest there, but overall, it seems like there is a lot of interesting material being packed into Secrets of Magic. Not just for players, but for storytellers like me. I think there is clearly going to be some fun stuff in this book. And appealing to my dramatic, over-the-top nature, I have to give the Hype Train Award here to the new line of summoning spells. I believe they're called Incarnate summoning spells. I tried to look that back up and couldn't find the exact terminology. But there's a new line of, well, bigger is better style summoning where creatures show up do something amazing and then just leave the battlefield, kind of like Final Fantasy summons, if you will. And a good example of that is a new spell that they have teased called Call Kaiju. I'll go ahead and tell you, I've already got my character concept for when I do get to play a summoner ready. So that is number 4 on my hype train list. But let's move to the top half of the list of things I am hyped about from Paizo Con. And next up, let's look at number 3 on my list, which is Guns and Gears, and a small line of text in the promo page that they released, which notes that Guns and Gears is going to offer new options and rules for vehicles. Now, let me just acknowledge here that Guns and Gears represents a little bit of a sticky point for some people when it comes to fantasy RPGs like Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I realize not everyone enjoys the idea of gunslingers and inventors in fantasy RPGs, and if you prefer a more pure fantasy experience, I totally understand that. But Guns and Gears represents a kind of over-the-top crazy shenanigans that I love to have in my games, so I am very excited for a lot of what this book has to offer. I'm excited for the gunslinger, I'm excited for the inventor, I'm excited for a lot of the things that they're going to be bringing to us in this book. But when I saw that little line in the product description, my heart was happy. Longtime viewers of this channel know that I have an unhealthy love for vehicle rules in role-playing games, and one of my few criticisms of Pathfinder 2e when it launched was the lack of clear, well-integrated vehicle rules. When the Game Mastery Guide came out and offered some vehicle rules, I was like, well, thank you, but I was hoping for something a little more robust. I think Paizo may have heard my wish, and I am excited to have not just new vehicle options, but new vehicle rules. I want to see an expansion on what you can do with vehicles in the game, on the kinds of combats and scenarios and stories you can tell using vehicles. I have wanted more robust vehicle rules for Pathfinder 2e, so knowing that they are going to make that a part of Guns and Gears is just something I am hyped to see. As for the number 2 item on my hype list, this is the book that Paizo is planning on releasing that I would say as an overall product I am the most interested in seeing, and that is Lost Omens Mwangi Expanse. The Mwangi Expanse is one of my favorite regions in the Galarian campaign setting, and I absolutely love the Magambaya Magical Academy. I love Old Mage Jatimbe and his 10 warriors. There are just so many fantastic stories in the Mwangi Expanse, and I am so excited to see a dedicated setting book for one of my favorite regions in the published setting for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. In every Pathfinder 2e game I run, I find an excuse to send my party to the Mwangi Expanse for at least a part of that campaign, because it is just genuinely a portion of the setting that I think is extremely well written, and it seems like Paizo has gone out of their way to up their game with this book. If you have seen my review videos on this channel, you are probably aware of the fact that the Lost Omens series is a series that I have been a little bit critical of in the past. There have been several Lost Omens line books that just haven't really measured up to the standard that I would hope Paizo would reach, but this book I'm hopeful for. Paizo, you have set a high bar for one of my favorite parts of your campaign setting, and so far from the teasers and the information and the spoilers you've given out, it sounds like this is going to be a fantastic book. It's hard to pick one part of the Mwangi Expanse book that I am excited about, because honestly, everything in that book is going to appeal to me. If I had to offer a personal pick, it's going to be finally having more details about the Magambaya. If anything, the only thing I'm not excited about is how many creepy spider characters my wife is going to make using the Incarnate once this book is released. But overall, I have to say, number 2 on my hype list from Paizo Con, Lost Omens, the Mwangi Expanse. So now we come to the number one thing from Paizo Con that I am just hyped to see. And, you know, you may be a little bit curious where I can go here, because I've already talked about all of the books that Paizo is going to be publishing. But that is not all of the books that Paizo announced at Paizo Con. As amazing as the offerings that Paizo is giving us this year may be, there was one product mentioned that is a little more exciting for me, and that is the Battlezoo Bestiary that is being published by Roll for Combat. In 2020, Roll for Combat hosted the latest round of the RPG Superstar competition, and people were given a chance to submit their designs for monsters for a Pathfinder 2nd Edition compatible book. Now, longtime viewers of this channel may know that I was one of the Platinum Prize winners of last year's competition. My Saltstalker monster actually took home a Platinum Prize in that competition and will be featured in the Battlezoo Bestiary. And let me just say, I am super excited to see something that I had a hand in creating be part of a published book. So that in and of itself would make for a pretty good reason to put the Battlezoo Bestiary as number one on my hype list for this year. But there was something that pushed my hype a little bit higher. During Paizo's keynote address, they shared some illustrations from the Battlezoo Bestiary, including the Saltstalker. There it is, right there, center of the picture. My monster made the Paizo keynote address. I am so excited. This is like one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me, and I am just so happy that I finally get to share the design of my monster with you guys. So I just wanted to put that out. This is what the Saltstalker looks like, and I'm so happy not just that my design is being published, but that my design was actually featured as part of Paizo's keynote address. This is seriously one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. And yes, they didn't mention my name during the keynote address. I'm fine with that. I'm just happy seeing something I created being put out there into public space. It looks so cool. The artist did an amazing job. So anyways, those are just a few of the things that were announced during PaizoCon this year that have me excited. I think there are a lot of fun products coming out. I think there's a lot of interesting things that we're going to see and a lot of cool things that I'm going to get to add to my Pathfinder and Starfinder games. But let me throw the conversation over to you. Was there anything from PaizoCon that has you hyped up, that has you excited? Is there anything that you are just eager and anticipating the chance to pull out at your gaming table? Let me know what has you hyped up in the comments down below. I know that this video is a little bit of a departure from my normal style. If I'm being honest, I just needed an excuse to share that artwork because it makes my heart happy. But let me know what has you hyped up, let me know what has you excited. And next week I will be back with my classic introduction series where we're going to be talking about the Ranger and possibly a fun small bonus video as well. If you enjoyed this video, like it and share it. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for being part of the conversation. Have a wonderful day.